Touching down on American soil for the first time. And for the freed Americans who had endured 444 days of hatred. A day of love as families raced across the tarmac at Stewart Field. The reunion was meant to be private, cameras and reporters kept at a distance. Less than an hour later, the former hostages and their families boarded buses headed for West Point. They were probably astounded at what they saw. Crowds lining the entire 17-mile route. A profusion of yellow ribbons, flags, and welcome home signs. Entire communities along the way turned out to pay tribute. In some places, the crowd surged into the path of the motorcade, almost halting it. All kinds of people lined the route. Grandmothers, children on shoulders, firemen with flags perched precariously from hook and ladder trucks. Even pets dressed up for the arrival. And the messages. Glad you're back. God bless America. And the one that perhaps summed up the occasion best, you brought us together. As the former hostages and the families arrived at West Point, Lloyd Dobbins was there.
The convoy arrived in Highland Falls, New York, almost to West Point, just at 5 p.m. Police cars led the 6 buses down the main street, past people who had waited, some since 9 this morning, to cheer, chant, cry, wave flags, and welcome the returned hostages and their families to West Point. Until Tuesday, they'll be staying at the Thayer Hotel on the post, which military police, some with guard dogs, have sealed off. The returned hostages will have some privacy to get reacquainted with their families. But for the arrival, the people of Highland Falls wanted them to know they were welcome. The motorcade had been a long time getting from the airport, and it went by quickly. Too quickly for the people who wore yellow ribbons, waved American flags, and shouted their welcome. Still, it was the most exciting thing that has ever happened in Highland Falls, New York, population 5,000. Lloyd Dobbins, NBC News, West Point.
After the private reunion, Ernest Cook of Memphis, father of Donald Cook.
At Rhein-Main Air Force Base, going home meant another release of the warm feelings that had been locked away for so long. It took more than half an hour to get from the buses which brought them from the hospital into the airplane, embracing hospital staff that came along to say goodbye, or seeing a hometown reporter rushing over for reunion. Time and again, they had said the support of waiting Americans had helped pull them through, and here, there was a need to touch them, shake hands with a farewell crowd, and say thanks.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you. How you doing? Fantastic. Really.
You're looking pretty good.
Feeling good.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I couldn't feel better.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get back? Today?
Yeah.
Take my wife in my arms.
How do you feel about going home today?
Tickled pink. It's the best thing that's ever happened. We can't wait to get home tomorrow. God bless America.
How soon are you going home? When do you get home?
Be a few days at least.
You enjoy yourself in Annapolis?
West Point.
West Point, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
What's that?
It's America.
You gonna kiss the ground even if it's cold?
I just might do that.
Good luck. Good luck.
It's good to be in Germany, and it's going to be a lot better to be in the States.
5 days after sudden freedom, a presidential airplane designated Freedom 1 took them home. John Hart, NBC News, Frankfurt.
On Tuesday, President Reagan will welcome the 52 Americans.
It's quite a large building. About 10 or 12, I guess the count is 11. 11 of these hostages live in the Washington area, Maryland, Virginia, the district. This is the second plane now on the ground. First one's been towed out of position. There's Mr. German, I think, from Rockville, Maryland. There's a pretty woman with her eyes riveted on that door. And there's Vice President Bush at the base of the stairs welcoming his new crew.
How are you? You're great. Nice to see you, sir. Welcome back. Glad to see you. Nice to see you. Glad to see you.
That's Robert Blucher.
Glad to see you. Glad to see you. This is the Barnes family. Yeah. Hi, Cardi. Glad to see you, sir. Welcome.
You know, Roger, I wonder if any of the former hostages ever sat in their cells or their rooms in Iran and wondered if something like this would ever happen to them. Some of them probably thought it would never happen to them, but I wonder if others imagined that they might be met. They're calling this a low-key reception. It may be low-key. You can hear the Navy band in the background, and the people at the bottom of the rank are really very high level. So it's a kind of a combination low-key, high-level ceremony that we're watching.
John, the man with the camera is Donald Cook's father from Memphis, and
oh, he's the professor.
Yeah, he's the professor. Quite a memorable moment for him, and he's going to record it, I guess.
One of the wives was quoted the other day when she came in with her husband on the 20-mile ride in from the airport to West Point. She said, we kept waiting to go around the turn and not see anybody, but every turn we rounded, there were more and more of them.
And I think that'll be the way it is on the road into Washington, D.C. today, which we'll be seeing here on NBC this afternoon, part of that. And once they get into the district, there ought to be a very large crowd.
Estimates go as high as 200,000. There is no time off official for federal workers, but there's nobody really is going to complain about sneaking out for a couple hours this afternoon.
Have a good reunion?
Yes, great.
That's great. Very good. Robert Bull. Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Hey,
you.
Bob. How you doing? I was asking about you today.
That's the voice of Vice President Bush, of course.
Great, I like to talk to you. I haven't seen you about 4 years. Hi.
You know, John and Roger, I covered Bush's campaign, and his greeting style hasn't changed from the campaign days. That hi, glad to see you, so nice to see you style.
That's a special language shared by all politicians. It's the patois, isn't it?
But he did recognize one of the hostages there a minute ago. He said, I haven't seen you in about 4 years.
That's Senator Byrd, now the minority leader of the Senate, and Jim Wright of Texas, the majority leader of the House, just standing in place. The motorcade route goes through Prince George's County, which is southeast of Washington. Andrews Air Force Base is about 12 miles from the White House. And the motorcade runs along Suitland Parkway, which is a limited access road.
The man there warmly embracing his family is William Doherty. And we believe he was one of the people held in solitary confinement for the longest time during this whole ordeal.
No pictures were ever seen of him during those periods, were there?
No.
And what was his job at the embassy?
Well, he had one of those nebulous embassy titles. The Iranians suspected that he was a CIA man and released documents purporting to show that he had connections with the Central Intelligence Agency.
That's Doherty there. Is that right, George?
Right, the man in the glasses. There's William Gallegos, the Marine Corporal.
This morning at the press conference, when the press began to zero in on, is it Sergeant Gallegos?
I guess it's Sergeant Gallegos by now.
Bruce Langan, who was very much in control of that press conference, snapped the questioning off a bit and diverted it somewhere else.
Bruce German from Rockville, Maryland. I believe that's his mother on the left. That's Dwayne Gillette there, the Navy man with the glasses on. A lot of these families are going to remember this reunion for a long time because for a lot of the extended family members, it's probably a reunion amongst them, too.
Well, there it is at Andrews. Half of the planes have come in now. We've got 2 more to go before this group assembles for a triumphant entry into the nation's capital. Some of our cameras have recorded but not put on the air yet. We want to show you one now about some people being carried away, literally.
That's Donald Cook from Virginia. He's a geologist, and obviously a very enthusiastic reception from his family and friends.
Just down in the corner of the enclosure for the extended families here, someone is down on the ground. We don't know whether they have collapsed just from emotion, but an ambulance has been brought up, and people are rushing to help the person who is down there.
John, it's kind of ironic, it seems to me. We've taken these 52 Americans through a really very, very bad patch, and all of them came back walking. And we come out here to Andrews Air Force Base, and somebody gets overcome or gets a tummy ache or something. The point I think I'm trying to make to us all is that the fact that all 52 got back, and here are some more of them, is really incredible given the circumstances of their capture.
But this is a happy day. People have been streaming in from the State Department, from the Defense Department. They're lining the ropes here, waiting for this very emotional ceremony, a brief one, but very emotional ceremony that is set to get underway probably in about 30 or 40 minutes from now. President Reagan is expected to make very brief remarks, but he's expected to issue a stern warning that if any other diplomats are taken by any group or any country, that they will have the Reagan administration to answer for. The president has a task force looking into various economic, political, and military options to deal with the situation should this taking of hostages ever occur again. The president in the past few days has been very emotional about this hostage issue, especially when he heard of the bad treatment that many of them had received. Yesterday morning in the Oval Office, there were tears in his eyes as he signed a proclamation naming this coming Thursday as a day of thanksgiving for the rescue of the hostages. So we're all set here. People continue to stream in. It's a very happy, a very emotional occasion. Let's go now to Emery King at another position here on the...
All you need to do is listen to the people in the crowd. Everyone has some kind of feeling that they know these people. Bus number 2. Approaching the district building, the City Hall of Washington, D.C., bus number 3.